Good morning. Welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Theo Mayer. Here we are on day 77 of 2025, and I'm continuing the story of the King of the Wind. Now, you might remember that Agba, riding Sham, with the other groom boys and Senior Ahmed at the lead, had arrived at the palace in Versailles, France, where they were to give their gifts to the king, King Louis XV, the child king, but also known as Louis the Beloved. The head stableman hurried up to give the news to Monsieur El-Duc, who was being fitted with a new wig. 40 more curls he wanted, 20 on each side. Now, Monsieur El-Duc took the news, and he didn't really respond with much vim and vigor around the whole thing. He treated it as if it was no real big deal at all. Almost an inconvenience. But given the chance to perhaps promote his position a little bit, he appreciated the stableman had given him the news first, and after giving instructions to the wig maker, off he went down to the stables. Now he walked in, and he was almost appalled by the condition of the horses. Standing by each horse was a skinny boy in what looked like to him rags. Senior Ahmed, though he had white robes on, his face was gaunt as well. Monsieur El-Duc took the letter that had been given him. It was sealed with wax, the seal of the Sultan himself. And he began to look at what was written and began to laugh because it seemed so absolutely absurd that these horses were considered a gift, and that they were considered even more than a gift, but something that would enhance the horses of France into a better breed. He looked at the letter and he looked at the horses and began to laugh. He was looking directly at Sham and Agba. The fire began to burn in his eyes because he could tell. Even though he didn't understand the language, he could tell what that man was thinking. Well, just as this was going on, King Louis XV, he was a man that loved to go out on hunt, I should say a boy. And it so happened that he had ridden into the royal stables himself. Seeing this novelty before his eyes, he dismounted and walked over and asked Monsieur El-Duc what was going on. Well, Monsieur El-Duc continued in the fashion that he already had, laughing and saying how ridiculous this scene before him was. And Louis XV asked to have this situation explained to him. And so Monsieur El-Duc began. Now I will tell you that on the way as well to the royal stables was the Duke, who was actually overseeing the running of the country. He was the uncle of Louis XV, basically in charge of the country until Louis XV could take over leadership himself. And so the Duke is about to stride into this entire scene. And we'll leave the story there.